In the eerie glow of twilight, the world lay still, a ghost of its former self. Years had passed since the scourge of the undead had swept through humanity like a relentless tide. Survivors huddled in the remnants of civilization, their existence a constant battle against both the lingering threat of the undead and the harsh realities of a shattered world. Among them was Dr. Laura Walsh, a brilliant scientist who had dedicated her life to unraveling the mysteries of the apocalypse. She had seen the horrors firsthand, witnessed the chaos and devastation wrought by the relentless march of the undead. But as the years wore on, she began to suspect that there was more to the story than met the eye. It was on a routine scavenging expedition that Dr. Walsh stumbled upon the first clue. Buried beneath the rubble of an old laboratory, she unearthed a cache of documents detailing a secret government project known only as Project Eclipsed Earth. The documents spoke of extraterrestrial visitors, of clandestine experiments gone awry, and of a conspiracy that stretched back decades. Driven by curiosity and a thirst for answers, Dr. Walsh embarked on a journey across the ravaged landscape, piecing together fragments of the past in search of the truth. Along the way, she encountered others like her, fellow survivors who had glimpsed the hidden horrors lurking beneath the surface of their world. Together, they delved deeper into the mystery, uncovering evidence of a sinister plot to engineer the zombie apocalypse as a precursor to an alien invasion. It seemed impossible, absurd even, but the evidence was irrefutable. The undead were not the product of some natural disaster or scientific experiment gone wrong. They were a weapon unleashed upon humanity by forces beyond their understanding. As they raced against time to unravel the conspiracy, Dr. Walsh and her allies found themselves hunted by shadowy figures intent on keeping the truth buried. But they refused to be silenced, pressing onward even as the odds stacked against them. Finally, after months of relentless pursuit, they uncovered the heart of the conspiracy, a hidden facility deep beneath the earth where the true architects of the apocalypse lay in wait. There, amidst the flickering lights and sterile corridors, they confronted the aliens who had orchestrated their downfall. The aliens, it seemed, had grown weary of waiting for humanity to destroy itself. In their eyes, the zombie apocalypse was a necessary evil, a means to an end in their bid to claim the Earth as their own. But Dr. Walsh and her allies refused to surrender without a fight, standing firm against the alien invaders with courage born of desperation. In the dimly lit control room, Dr. Walsh stared defiantly at the alien leader, her voice steady despite the pounding of her heart. "You thought you could control us," she said, her words echoing through the chamber. "But you underestimated the strength of the human spirit. We will not bow to your tyranny. We will fight until our last breath." The alien leader regarded her with cold, calculating eyes, its features obscured by the dim light. "You are but insects, insignificant creatures clinging to a dying world," it hissed, its voice echoing with a chilling intensity. "Your defiance is futile. You cannot hope to stand against us." But Dr. Walsh refused to back down, her resolve unshakable in the face of the alien threat. With a flick of her wrist, she activated the controls, sending a surge of power coursing through the facility. Lights flickered, alarms blared, and the chamber shook with the force of their struggle. As chaos erupted around them, Dr. Walsh and her allies fought bravely against the alien invaders, their weapons blazing as they clashed in a desperate battle for survival. The air was thick with smoke and the stench of ozone, the sound of gunfire mingling with the guttural cries of the undead. But even as they fought, Dr. Walsh knew that their time was running out. The facility was crumbling around them, its foundations weakened by the force of their struggle. With each passing moment, the walls closed in, threatening to crush them beneath tons of concrete and steel. Desperate, Dr. Walsh turned to her companions, her voice filled with urgency. "We need to get out of here," she shouted, her words barely audible over the roar of the collapsing facility. "We can't let them win." Together, they raced through the corridors, their footsteps echoing in the darkness as they fought their way to freedom. Behind them, the alien invaders pursued relentlessly, their ranks bolstered by the reanimated corpses of the undead. But Dr. Walsh and her allies refused to yield. their determination unwavering as they fought tooth and nail to escape the clutches of their pursuers. With every step, they drew closer to the surface, to the light of day and the promise of a new beginning. And then, just as all hope seemed lost, they burst into the open air, the warmth of the sun washing over them like a benediction. For a moment, they stood in silence, their breath coming in ragged gasps as they surveyed the wreckage of the facility. But their victory was short-lived, for even as they caught their breath, they knew that the battle was far from over. The alien invaders still lurked in the shadows, their plans for conquest far from thwarted. As Dr. Walsh looked out at the desolate landscape stretching before them, she knew that the fight for humanity's survival had only just begun. But she also knew that as long as there were those willing to stand and fight, there would always be hope. And so, with a steely resolve burning in her heart, she turned to face the future, ready to confront whatever challenges lay ahead. For in the twilight of the world, amidst the echoes of the eclipsed earth, the human spirit would endure, unbroken and unyielding, until the end of days.